I'm fucking hit!
We are engaging objective Bravo.
She's still held by the enemy. Regroup and re-engage.
Enemy helicopter down!
Hostiles still control more objectives.
Objective marked. Support the attack.
Solo leveling
Airspace is
arrives.
clear. Pilots are free
Overdrive.
to engage.
Pre-order now.
Newspapers.com. Past. Read all about it.
What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be going over the best settings you need to be utilizing in Battlefield 6, and there are a lot of things to look at in this game, which is awesome, but it can also be a pretty big headache, and I am here to help you out. We're going to cover gameplay settings, both controller and mouse and key settings, as I have been playing on both inputs, as well as tweaks to your audio, and a lot more. As always, timestamps are down below, but I would encourage you to watch the entire video, as there's a lot of overlap between sections, and a lot to be learned, and I don't want you to miss anything. Let's get right to it. I'm going to very quickly go over the accessibility tab. All these settings are also in future tabs. I kind of think of this accessibility tab as like a quick access, and also a huge thing for you to be aware of. If you see a small white square next to any setting, this means I have adjusted the setting. If there is no small white square, then it is a default value. This is pretty big, as you can see what you have changed from what the game did come with. So starting at the top, audio, menu, narration, subtitles, both of these I have as off. The rest of this here is going to be up to you and what you need. If you need to change subtitle settings because you have them as on, you're going to have to go in here and do what you want to do. I don't really like subtitles in my game personally, because I want to have my screen be as clear from clutter and stuff from popping up on it as I can. Graphic quality settings, color profiles, world brightness, and camera effects, these are all pretty big. For world brightness, I will just state that I do like my monitor to be a little bit more bright, so I have this at 60. As for color profiles, if you go in here, you can change the color for like pretty much everything in the game. The few big ones that I have adjusted are friendly color, squad color, and enemy color. I basically just up the saturation in here, so if you go in here, you go all the way over to the right, which is full color, and you can change the color to what you want, and I would recommend that you do this. Camera effects is also probably one of the biggest settings in the entire game. All of these, for the most part, I have as off. Basically, I don't want any world motion blur. I don't want any weapon motion blur when I'm moving around. I don't want a blur effect. I want things to be clear. Infantry HUD motion, you want this as off. You don't want your HUD to be moving around as you are moving around or taking damage. Camera shake, you want this to be as low as possible, so all the way down to 50. Reduce sprint camera bobbing, you want this as on, because this is going to reduce the amount your camera does shake around or bob around. And then chromatic aberration and infantry crosshair projection, you want both of these as off, specifically the infantry crosshair projection. This is just going to stop the crosshair from moving around, and it's going to keep it centered on your screen, which is something that should be pretty obvious. Faster controls with the hold and toggle. There's a lot you can adjust here, whether you want to be able to hold the button down or just toggle that button to do it. For me in particular, I have crouch slide as crouch toggle, because on my controller, I do have crouch set to toggle, not hold, so I can just kind of hit that crouch button once, and then I am going to be able to crouch. I don't have to hold that crouch button down. Now I want to be able to slide on controller, which is why it is set to crouch toggle. Otherwise, I have all these other ones set as default. As for a controller, we got controller vibration, which I have always had my controller vibration set to off all the way back since like 2003, 2004, Halo 2, when that first came out. I always had controller vibration off because I don't want my hands shaking when I am taking damage or when I am shooting my guns. I want my hands to be kind of steady. I do find that if I do have vibration on, it could make me miss some shots. I will say, if you feel like you really need to have vibration on, you can go in the vibration mix and turn certain things on and off, which is actually, I think, awesome. If anything, I would probably turn weapon fire off and destructions and explosions off, but maybe if you want some incoming damage feedback, turn this as on so you can know when you are getting hit and you're controlling. That should be pretty obvious. You want this as off. As for controls with the around as you are moving around or taking damage. Camera shake, you want this to be as low as possible, so all the way down to 50. Reduce sprint camera bobbing, you want this as on, because this is going to reduce the amount your camera does shake around or bob around. And then chromatic aberration and infantry crosshair projection, you want both of these as off, specifically the infantry crosshair projection. This is just going to stop the crosshair from moving around, and it's going to keep it centered on your screen, which is something that should be pretty obvious. You want this as off. As for controls with the hold and toggle, there's a lot you can adjust here, whether you want to be able to hold the button down or just toggle that button to do it. For me in particular, I have crouch slide as crouch toggle, because on my controller, I do have crouch set to toggle, not hold, so I can just kind of hit that crouch button once, and then I am going to be able to crouch. I don't have to hold that crouch button down. Now I want to be able to slide on controller, which is why it is set to crouch toggle. Otherwise, I have all these other ones set as default. As for a controller, we got controller vibration, which I have always had my controller vibration set to off all the way back since like 2003, 2004, Halo 2, when that first came out, I always had controller vibration off because I don't want my hands shaking when I am taking damage or when I am shooting my guns. I want my hands to be kind of steady. I do find that if I do have vibration on, it could make me miss some shots. I will say, if you feel like you really need to have vibration on, you can go in the vibration mix and turn certain things on and off, which is actually, I think, awesome. If anything, I would probably turn weapon fire off and destructions and explosions off, but maybe if you want some incoming damage feedback, turn this as on so you can know when you are getting hit, your controller will vibrate a little bit. And then you can also, of course, go one step farther and have the vibration intensity a little bit higher or a little bit lower if you do want just a little bit of feedback. Chat, I do have both of these set to off. Tutorials, this is more for the campaign. I just have them as off. You don't really need it. And then hints, I have all this as default. As you get more experience with the game, you could turn some of these hints off, and I think that would be a valid take. But for now, I'm just leaving them on because the game is brand new. I don't want to miss anything. All right, moving on to the gameplay tab. We do have a lot here, and this is where we're going to start getting into sensitivities and stuff. But first, we got invert all vertical look. That's going to be custom. And vertical look settings, this is basically just whether you want certain things to be inverted or not. Now, I do have this as all the defaults. I don't really want my look controls to be inverted at all. I just don't think it's necessary. Hold toggle, this is what we went over on the accessibility tab, and this is what I was saying. There's a lot of overlap. Crouch slide, again, just crouch toggle. The rest are default. Capture area outline, I do have this as on. If you're wondering what this is basically the white outline or red outline or blue outline that is around on the ground. It just gives you a more definitive way to tell if you are in the capture area and where that capture area is. Infantry, this is where we're going to start getting into a lot of aim sensitivities and aiming and that type of thing. Infantry aim sensitivity, this in particular is going to be just for the controllers out there. If you read the description, adjust infantry control input sensitivity when aiming with a controller. So I do have this as a little bit higher than the default. I believe the default is 40. I have this at 50. And then infantry mouse aim sensitivity, since I do play both inputs, I have this at 16, which is probably a little bit lower for some people, but I like a much slower sense on my mouse. I'd rather just move my mouse more to turn around and that type of thing. I don't want to miss shots if someone's too close. I'm just kind of spazzing out, looking all around. I do play on 1600 DPI, so that's something for you to be aware of. If you do play around 1200 DPI, I'd probably set this around 20 to 25. And if you're an 800 DPI user, you probably would want to double this, which would be around 30, 32. Double tap forward to sprint. I just have this as off. I don't really want to double tap forward just to sprint. I just don't think that you slide, but this is off. Then the rest of the infantry tab here is going to just be default when you do aim down sights. Interact and reload, I have prioritize interact, which is again is just the default. And invert demolition charge I have as off as well. Basically, you're just going to invert the button input for throwing and detonating so I'll go forward. I don't need to hold it down. Now for aim assist, there is a lot here that I did adjust. First off, I will state that the infantry aim input curve, the infantry zoom aim input curve, the vehicle aim input curve, and the vehicle zoom aim input curve, I all have set to the Battlefield 1, Battlefield 4 settings. I tried all of them. This for me felt the most natural. It does remove a little bit of the customization that you can't do, but honestly, I don't think it matters that much. Aim assist in Battlefield 6 honestly is pretty good, if not a little bit strong. I had to reduce it, but I do recommend Battlefield 1, Battlefield 4. You can, of course, try these for yourselves. And if you did play a different game a lot more than some games, like maybe play more Battlefield 5, maybe play more Battlefield 3, Bad Company 2, there's a lot in here, then you could go in and use that setting so it's more familiar to you. Vehicle aim assist zoom snap, I turned down a little bit. This is 40. Infantry aim assist, I have all the way up. I want my max aim assist. And infantry aim assist slow down, I have also as a little bit lower than default. I just found that the zoom snap, if it was at 100 and the aim assist slow down, if that was at 100, I couldn't track enemies. The snapping in combination with the slowdown was preventing me from getting my cursor on my target sometimes. Kind of weird to explain. This was especially true if there's more than one person grouped up together. I could just not get my reticle on my target as consistent as I wanted. So I did lower these, and I would recommend that you lower them as well. As for the vehicle aim assist, I had this all the way up. And the vehicle aim assist slowdown, I also turned down to match my infantry aim assist slowdown as well. There's going to be a lot more controller stuff and mouse and key stuff to go over in a minute, so we will get to that in a second. But as for the campaign tab, if we continue to go down, this doesn't really matter. Basically, again, menu tutorials I have as off, and subtitles I I have as off as well. This is up to you and what you want to do. For the controller, I do have a lot of things here that did kind of tweak. Some of them we just went over, but controller settings, I do have, again, very similar to the stuff that we were seeing on the gameplay tab. But if you do notice, infantry aim assist sensitivity 50, which is a little bit higher than the default 40. My field of view is 104. Personally, as long as it's over 100 in my eyes, maybe even 95, I think you're going to be good to go. The higher your field of view is, the more you're going to be able to see around you, but the harder it is going to be to aim on target because enemies are going to be smaller. I like somewhere in the middle. 104 is what I do for all my games. I do recommend this. Uniform infantry aiming. This is pretty big. It's going to be on as default, which I do recommend you keep it as. If you want more customization, you could turn it as off. But basically, this is going to make your aim a little bit more consistent, regardless of the field of view or the zoom amount that you are using. And your zoom sensitivity coefficient, that's going to be defaulted to 178. If you do not know what this is, zoom sensitivity coefficient 178. Basically, everyone, for the most part, is using a 16:9 aspect ratio. That's what your monitor is. Now, if you are playing stretch res, that could be like 16:10. But if you take 16 divided by 9, you're going to get 1.78, which, surprise, zoom sensitivity coefficient 178. It's basically just calculating the vertical and horizontal ratio. Now, what the zoom sensitivity coefficient does is that if you raise this all the way up, your different zoom levels will be a little bit closer together, whereas if you lower this all the way down, your different zoom levels will be a little bit more spread apart. Again, I just recommend you leave this as default. Infantry aim assist, I have this as 100 again. We did go over this a second ago. Infantry aim assist slowdown and infantry aim assist zoom snap, I have these as a little bit lower. Again, I just think that if you have these as the default 100, there's just like too much snap on, there's too much slowdown, I just can't aim properly, so I did lower these. Aim input curve, BF1, BF4, and then stick input acceleration presets, I have this as BF4, BF3, and Battlefield Bad Company. Basically, this just has no acceleration if you are going left and right, and I like to have none. Personally, if I'm moving left and right, I don't want the longer I'm turning right or the longer I'm turning left, I don't want it to go faster the more and more I look. This creates inconsistency when I am looking around, and I just don't like it. If I do want to move faster left and right, I will just increase my base sensitivity. Movement, all this pretty much is default, but again, crouch slide, I do have as crouch toggle. Which is this last setting as well. As for zoom, there's a lot here that you can do and customize, and a lot of this is going to be highly dependent on what you want and how fast you want your scopes to move around. For me, I play both mouse and keyboard and controller. Now, we are in the controller section of this video right now. What this does is by lowering this, my controller zoom senses are all a little bit lower. It allows me to have a little bit more control on the controller. As for all the zoom aim sense optics, I basically start at 0.9 for 1.0, so when I am aiming down sights with a 1x, I have 90% of the zoom sense that I would with a regular just looking around. And then from there, I just go lower and lower as I get up to the large optics. Basically, the further I am zooming in, the less I need to look around, and thus I do have a little bit slower sense, so I can have a little bit more finesse in my aiming. I don't need to really like whip around with the 10x unless I'm trying to quick scope someone at close range, which maybe if you are a run and gun sniper with a long range optic, you could increase these, but that's like the only scenario where I would recommend that. The other tab are all as default for me. Gyro, my controller just doesn't have that, so I just don't really worry about this, but if you don't want gyro in your controller, you could disable this. And then flick look, I have, as always, a 90 and 100. These are default as well. Now, if we go back, that was all in the controller settings. The button layout for my controller, I have as alternate. And basically, the only thing that is doing for me, if I go back and look at the controller, it is just swapping my right stick in the B button. It's going to be swapping my melee and my crouch. So rather than hitting the right stick to melee, it's just going to be hitting B, and I can use that right stick as to crouch, which I think is pretty good. I also use 2 paddles on the back for jump and crouch, so this isn't too big of a deal. I just don't want to accidentally melee by hitting in the right stick. Otherwise, controls I have as default, and the rest of the control settings are, for the most part, are default as well. Infantry passenger control mapping, all of these are as default for me. I just did not find the need to change any of the default controller settings. I think they're all pretty good. There's nothing missing. As for the ground vehicles, this is like your tanks. The control settings I think are pretty big. Vehicle aim sense again is 12. We went over this earlier. Vehicle third person field of view, I have this as all the way up. Tank aim sense I have as 200, which is all the way up as well. I found that when I am pressing left trigger, trying to zoom in with the tank, or if I am on mouse and key as well, I just want to be able to move it around a little bit, and I found that the default, like 100 I think it was, just moves way too slow. I understand that you might not, and the rest of the control settings are, for the most part, are default as well. Infantry passenger control mapping, all of these are as default for me. I just did not find the need to change any of the default controller settings. I think they're all pretty good. There's nothing missing. As for the ground vehicles, this is like your tanks. The control settings I think are pretty big. Vehicle aim sense again is 12. We went over this earlier. Vehicle third person field of view, I have this as all the way up. Tank aim sense I have as 200, which is all the way up as well. I found that when I am pressing left trigger, trying to zoom in with the tank, or if I am on mouse key as well, I just want to be able to move it around a little bit, and I found that the default, like 100 I think it was, just moves way too slow. I understand that you might not need to really move around as much when you are looking down the gun with the tank, but I like to be able to move a little bit quicker. It just felt really slow. Gunner aim sense I have as 100, vertical aim ratio I have as 90, and vertical zoom aim ratio I have as 90 as well. I just lowered these a little bit because I don't need to look vertically as much as I am looking left and right and horizontal. Uniform vehicle aiming I have this as off, and then again BF1, BF4 for all these aim input. Vehicle aim assist I have as 100 again, which matches the controller infantry settings. Vehicle aim assist slowdown and zoom snap also matches again my controller infantry settings at 60 and 40. Movement I have these as default. And then the zoom I have as default as well. Gyro is disabled because I don't have gyro, which is the default as well. And then flick click is also. As for the rest of the ground vehicle settings, the rest of this here is default, and I just didn't change any of the ground vehicle driver control mapping. I just didn't find it necessary. But the rest of these vehicle settings, the transport vehicle, aircraft, helicopter, gunner, all these are basically the exact same as my ground vehicles. It's just gonna make things a little bit more one-to-one depending on what vehicle you are in. The only thing that I have changed a little bit is under helicopter control settings. I just have the helicopter control sensitivity at 70. I found that the sense was just a little bit too high. I was like overturning my helicopter a little bit too much, so I did lower this down. Otherwise, again, the rest of these are literally the exact same as the ground vehicles, so you can copy this one-to-one, and I would recommend you do this as well. Now, we're almost done with the controller tab, but if you go all the way down to the bottom, joystick on vehicles, it's just for all these aim input. Vehicle aim assist I have as 100 again, which matches the controller infantry settings. Vehicle aim assist slowdown and zoom snap also matches again my controller infantry settings at 60 and 40. Movement I have these as default. And then the zoom I have as default as well. Gyro is disabled because I don't have gyro, which is the default as well. And then flick click is also. As for the rest of the ground vehicle settings, the rest of this here is default, and I just didn't change any of the ground vehicle driver control mapping. I just didn't find it necessary. But the rest of these vehicle settings, the transport vehicle, aircraft, helicopter, gunner, all these are basically the exact same as my ground vehicles. It's just gonna make things a little bit more one-to-one depending on what vehicle you are in. The only thing that I have changed a little bit is under helicopter control settings. I just have the helicopter control sensitivity at 70. I found that the sense was just a little bit too high. I was like overturning my helicopter a little bit too much, so I did lower this down. Otherwise, again, the rest of these are literally the exact same as the ground vehicles, so you can copy this one-to-one, and I would recommend you do this as well. Now, we're almost done with the controller tab, but if you go all the way down to the bottom, joystick, if you're using a joystick, this will be on you, I'm not. We got UI control mapping in here. These are all default. It's just basically what you can do to look around on the map. You could adjust this if you want, but the big one is all the way down here, and I don't know why this is quite as hidden as it is, but controller tuning, this one is going to be massive. Again, we got controller vibration in here. We went over this earlier, but we got controller left stick and right stick and the dead zones. This is huge. You're going to want the dead zones and the axial dead zone to be as low as possible while not having any stick drift. So for me, this was setting these to 3, and then the max input threshold. How far can I move that left stick before I hit 100? And for me, it's going to be all the way at 100. I want to have the max range of motion with my left stick. You could move the left stick down to like 80, so you can move a little bit quicker to get to full movement. This is something that maybe you should do. And then the right stick, again, 3 and max input threshold. You're gonna want this at 100 for sure, as your right stick is your aiming on controller. And this will give you the max range of motion when you are looking around. And then triggers for me, I have these all as default. It's the dead zone. If your controller is accidentally shooting, you could lower this a little bit, but for me, I just don't have this issue. But don't miss this. Again, this is controller tuning. It's all the way at the bottom. And before we get to mouse and keyboard, I will just say, back on this tab that the controller is on, you can scroll through this to see what the buttons are if you're not really sure what something does. This is honestly pretty cool for like helicopters. You can kind of see like how to get into first.
Need a medic! Stay with me!
Contact! You're a lifesaver!
Advantage is still held by the enemy. Regroup and re-engage.
Right, we are attempting to capture Bravo. Bravo has been neutralized.
Delta has been secured. We now hold more objectives. Secure our defenses.
Objective marked. Support the attack.
Our troops are attacking Charlie. Medic!